Moments later, Squadron Leader BK Bishnoi landed at Halwara Air Force Station. He was tasked a combat air patrol mission. He was to target a train full of Pakistani ammunition originating from Lahore and heading to Kasur. He was number 4 in the attack of air formation and he blew the train, but his aircraft got hit by enemy anti-aircraft guns.
So as soon as we reported 27th Squadron and went to the crew room after reporting, half an hour later we were asked to mount a combat air patrol over Halwara. Because that morning Halwara had been attacked and they expected more attacks to come. That was my first operational mission I had ever flown in the war. So we took off 2 aircraft, went up over the airfield and set up a pattern going around and around that place, looking out for enemy aircraft coming. No enemy aircraft came. So it was rather a disappointment because there's an operational mission and nothing happened. Anyway, late in the afternoon, we were given another mission, and this mission was to locate a railway train, Pakistani railway train, which was coming from Lahore to Indian border near Kasur. We started from Halwara at about somewhere in the afternoon, headed towards Baba Nanak, Dera Baba Nanak, and from there turned left into the Pakistan territory. We were flying very low, and I suddenly found a big, huge canal passing underneath. Our map did not show that canal at all. So it confused me for a while, thinking that maybe that we are the wrong place somewhere. We had not come on to the area that we intended to come. This was in fact the Ichogal Canal. Our maps did not have that marked. Anyway, we still relied on our navigational thing, and we turned from there, Baba Dera Nanak, left onto the course towards Kasur. And there from a distance we saw this train. It was standing at Raiwind railway station, short of Kasur. It is very longish, a train with open wagons, closed wagons and all that. So we went past that at quite a distance, not to alert them, to recognize whether this is the one that we are looking for. And after confirming, we went in to attack that. I was number 4 in that formation. Number 4 means I was the last to attack. Number 1, I saw him fire on the train just behind the engine. His rocket went slap onto the railway track below the wheels, and the bogies behind the engine just blew up and caught fire. Number 2's rockets also hit. That was somewhere where the petrol wagons were there, vans there, tankers were there. That thing also blew up. That way 3rd, and by the time I got into attack, the anti-aircraft fire had started from the station. And I could see, for the first time I did not know what was happening, because there's some kind of puffs like this coming up around the aircraft, and this thing white and black and all that. So I wondered, what is this? And then suddenly it struck to me, oh, you idiot, this is anti-aircraft guns which are firing at you. But by then I was committed to my attack. I pressed the attack, hit the last 4th of the wagons which were there carrying the tanks and all that. And then we climbed up and turned around, and what we saw, the whole train was ablaze. And we could see the twisted rails on the railway station there, and there was kind of people running around, vehicles running around there.
The impact of the attack was that AVM Bishnoi foiled the Pakistani war strategy, as the ammunition and support could not reach the Pakistani forces. For his valiant act, AVM Bishnoi got his first Vir Chakra.
Now, there was no need to go in for the second attack. Now, this train was carrying the armament, the tanks and the fuel for the raging tank war which was taking place near Khemkarn and in that area. They were very highly dependent on this train to arrive because they couldn't continue with the aggression and try to push into the Indian territory if this fuel and ammunition didn't reach them. Well, our attack made it sure that fuel and ammunition did not reach them. As a result, the Pakistani tanks had to start withdrawing from there at heavy losses, and this is what had caused that Khemkarn, the what you call where all the tanks were slaughtered by the Indian tanks when they were started to retreat from there. For this particular attack, I got the Vir Chakra awarded in 1965. After the attack, we still had a lot of ammunition left, the rockets and the guns. So en route, we saw Pakistani columns of trucks, covered trucks, armored vehicles, some tanks moving towards our border. So we attacked all those and then came back home. I had 36 holes in my aircraft with the anti-aircraft bullets. So that was the first mission and first indoctrination into war as far as I was concerned. By then we became the veterans now because we were attacked, we picked up the bullets also and still survived. Thereafter many other missions were carried out. The war was over. The war was by and large a draw between the Pakistani Air Force and Indian Air Force. Indian Air Force had not really matured for war till then, because this was the first war when the Indian Air Force ever fought with another country in southeast, in our south India. And for the first time, when the jets of two opposing countries fought dogfights and air battles. It was a great lesson. We didn't have many trained pilots in combat experience, but still we managed to hold on our own.
AVM BK Bishnoi not only fought India's own war, but also trained Egyptian Air Force pilots for Arab-Egyptian war. Then Air Vice Marshal BK Bishnoi got posted to NDA in Air Force Flying Training School, Khadagbasla, where his first child was born.
I did a small stint of 2.5 years as a flying instructor with the Egyptian Air Force. We went to Egypt. There we trained their pilots. I was there during 1967 war, Arab-Israeli war, at Cairo. And I was there at the airfield when the airfield was being attacked. Now, Egyptian Air Force had good equipment, but very poor training infrastructure. The input and the comprehension of the pilots who were coming as young were also very limited. Maybe it was because of the language problem, because I didn't know Egyptian, they didn't know English. So we had to still interact with each other. To the extent, while teaching them, they were very loyal to the teacher. And one day one student told me, "Sir, you don't love me." I said, "Farhat, why do you say so?" He said, "You don't beat me." The Egyptian instructors, while teaching, if the student didn't understand what was being told, will hit him on with a fist onto his face, and he'll hit the wall and come back, and when on the rebound, he will give him another hit. So that is the kind of people, but very loyal, very sweet people. We had very nice time there. During their war, they didn't have experience of flying through the weather very much. So we didn't take part in 1966 war, the Indian instructors who were there, but I did ferry their aircraft from one place to other during the season when it is raining or it is fog and this and that. But we didn't take part in the actual combat anywhere. We went to a place known as Marsa, which is at the coast of the Egyptian into the what you call Mediterranean Sea. There they had just inducted new Russian trainers, L-69s. We had not flown those aircraft before. So first few sorties we flew on our own without anyone being able to teach us or anything, just got into the aircraft, started it and flew it. While one of the other people, experienced people, while doing the navigation training for ourselves, I asked him, I said, please will you give me the data for the fuel consumption of your aircraft? If I go to point A to B, how much fuel I will consume, how much fuel I will consume during the attacks on the enemy aircraft get in combat, and how much I will require to come back. So he said, Mr. Bishnoi, don't bother. We had done these trips, aircraft comes back. I say, you can't do like that. I mean, there's some way of flying and some methods of having how long you can go to attack a target. Now, with this kind of attitude, during '67 war, these friends went to Gaza to attack from Cairo. They went to Gaza. They found there was not much opposition. They did 1 attack, 2 attack, 3 attack, 4 attack, carried on. At the end of it, they suddenly realized that we had to go back home also. And where's the fuel? All 4 ran short of fuel on the way back in Israeli territory and ejected. So that is the kind of thing that we had to, there in Egypt, cope up with the mentality and the standards of or let's say professionalism in flying. From there I came back got posted to NDA in the Air Force Flying Training School. I was commanding Air Force Training School there, and this is where my only child was born.
Switching from one fighter aircraft to another jet is not easy. It becomes more so difficult when you are a commanding officer of a fighter squadron, an aircraft you never flown. AVM Bishnoi faced the same dilemma, and he wanted to show the true leadership when he had to learn combat in MiG-21 jet. Until now, he was flying Hunters. Watch this extraordinary story which made his station commander salute him.
They were flying the gliders for training of the Air Force cadets who were there. Until I had gone there, not a single person has been sent solo. They flew, the Tiger instructor sat with him. They did 30 or 40 sorties which were required to be done for their training, and then pushed them up to Air Force Academy. I said, nonsense. Your syllabus says that you must fly the gliders and attempt to send them solo. Had 65 cadets in the course that when I went there, I sent 40 of them solo. And there, the instructors told me, other instructors, sir, you are taking too much of risk. If this one of the blighter crashes, you will have to explain. I say, well, if they crashes, this is part of the game. He's come to fly. It's not natural for human beings to fly. We are using a contraption. If something goes wrong, it does go wrong, and it has gone wrong in the past, and it will in future too. But then we can't stop training them properly on that. Anyway, had no mishap whatsoever, and 40 people were sent solo. From NDA, I got posted to Hashimara in Assam, in West Bengal that time. And from there, 2 years later, I got posted to 28th Squadron at Tezpur in 1970. It was very interesting. I had not flown the MiG aircraft before that. I had flown Hunters, not the MiG aircraft, and they gave me a command of 28 Squadron, which was operating MiG-21s. So I was given a quick course of flying just 12 sorties at Chandigarh with another squadron, with a training squadron for MiG-21s, and take over the command of the squadron. Now I had a problem. That was that I had the background of being aircrew examiner. I had the background of being instructor for so many years. Most of the people whom I thought I'm going to see in my squadron will be my pupils, ex-pupils, or the people that we have flown with, and I will be the least experienced person there. I wouldn't have minded if I posted there only as one of the pilots. But to go and get posted as a squadron commander, to command that squadron, how am I going to command that if I don't know about the aircraft, I don't know about anything for the job that I have appointed? I'll have very experienced flight commanders, so they will be my gurus. They will teach me. And if they are going to teach me, how am I going to command them? These are my personal, you may call it my ego or something like that, but the fact is that I wanted to be a commanding officer, where I can chip in to give them the advantage of my experience and training and all that. So what I did at that time, there was another very experienced MiG pilot, not posted to 28 Squadron, but at the wing as a flight safety officer. I approached him. I said, you have got hundreds of hours on MiG-21. Please tell me about this aircraft. Tell me about the tactics that this aircraft employs in combat and various other aspects of its flying as an operational aircraft. He was very nice. So I started, instead of flying with my flight commanders in the air for practicing the combat and various things, I used to call him from his office. I said, let's go for combat training, and we used to take separate aircraft on that, naturally, because only one pilot flies the aircraft, there's no one else there. So for first 6 months, I flew hard, almost 3 to 4 sorties a day with this gentleman, and piled up about 150 hours or 200 hours roughly on the type. Now I start feeling confident. And that is how over the period of time, then I flew with flight commanders and other people also around that, and I could hold on my own. I remember with the station commander once asking me, probably he wanted to know that how I have coped up on this particular type of aircraft after coming fresh into it. So he said, Bishnoi, let's go for one versus one combat one day. I said, so why one day? Come tomorrow in the squadron. So next day he came, we went for combat. In the combat, the exercise is that you split up, you are at 2 different places, and then you say commence now. Then you turn towards each other and now try to get on the tail of the other aircraft, because your guns are mounted, they fire in front only. So unless you get behind the enemy, you can't shoot him down. So during this combat sortie, I got behind him, the station commander. We came back. So he said, well, very good experience, nice sortie, but tell me, how did you manage to get behind me? I said, sir, there wasn't much problem. I used a 1/4 degree of flap. Flaps are the aircraft part of it, to tighten the turn. He said, you use flaps in combat? I said, the idea was to get behind you. The rest come afterwards. So he was one of the first people who was sent to Russia on training on MiG-21s. So he had not heard use of the flaps, or the flap could make any difference. Anyway, then he asked me once again that next week we'll fly again, because now probably he wanted to use the flap also. to counter me. Anyway, the next sortie had nothing really as far as getting behind the tail of each other was concerned. We were just going round and round, tightening the turn. At one stage, I felt my aircraft nose well up, the speed was dropping very fast. And then when I moved the control, aircraft didn't respond. Aircraft was sliding down in this attitude, at slow speed and a very high nose attitude. Now this is a phenomena which is known in the MiG aircraft to happen, and as a result it loses about 3 to 4 kilometers of height before you can recover. So if you are less than say 3 kilometers, your chances of recovery are nil, and we had lost pilots already because of that. So this is what now I realize what's happening. I have got into this superstall condition. The aircraft is going to go down. I have no chance to recover from it. So I push the stick forward hard, open full throttle to recover my loss of speed and to control of the aircraft. Now the aircraft was descending very fast. I could see the ground coming up, rising towards me, and when you are flying at height, you don't see much things happening on the ground. But when you are low, you start seeing the things. You start seeing the trees, you start seeing the hilltops, you start seeing the ground features, vehicles moving and all that. So it was like that explosion of the ground coming up, going down so fast. So I had my stick forward, throttle open, and now something happened. I suddenly, in my mind, I was lost. I didn't see anything, I didn't hear anything, but something flashed in my mind. I saw at that moment the whole family of mine, my friends, literally in my, like I am seeing on the screen. And then I slowly realized the aircraft was building up the speed. And I recovered just above the tree level heights and all that, came back and landed. That was something supernatural, a kind of phenomenon which I experienced in flying, which otherwise had nothing to do with flying, but nearness to the death, as you call it. That sprang up that vision in my mind. When I came back, when I was coming back, I could hear my number one, my station commander calling up, "Bishnoi, where are you? Where are you?" Then I said, "Sir, I'm much behind you, not in contact with you. You go ahead and land, I'm coming." So I landed. Then I explained to him all this what happened on that. Anyway, that was one of the very unique flying experiences that I had.
Flying is not easy. Sometimes there occur some phenomena which one does not get answers immediately. One such flying experience made AVM Bishnoi perplexed and overwhelmed. Watch this extraordinary geopsychological phenomena which made Air Force doctor to ask him write an article which was later published in a medical journal.
Now other flying experience while flying there in 28th Squadron was one night we had gone for air combat at night, and after I finished my attack onto the aircraft in front of me, the practice attack, I suddenly felt that I am on my back. The aircraft is flying inverted. Now my instruments, everything was telling me no, the aircraft is not inverted, but my feeling was so strong that aircraft is inverted and I must do something about it. We had accidents in air because of this. This is known as spatial disorientation, that your canals which give you the sense of balance in the ears, they get so disturbed that it gives you the wrong feeling, that you are not upright, you are upside down. Anyway, not believing much in the feeling, but at the same time not being able to get over it. So I called up flying control, asked for direction to heading to steer to reach there. They gave me steer so and so course. I steered that course. The aircraft was going finely. I was still on my back, I thought. And the moment I saw the airfield from distance, without doing anything, I was erect. That feeling had disappeared. So I landed back, told my flight commander, I said, this is what happened. So he says, sir, hota hai. मैंने कहा होता नहीं है, I must know why it happened. So after an hour, I went up again, another sortie, same type of mission, same situation. I told number one that you go back and land, I'll come later. Now what I saw, that earlier when I was flying, there were clouds below me and sky on top. I could see these stars on top. Now during this mission, I found myself losing height after I broke off and the aircraft got below the cloud. Now what was there? There were no stars in the sky because no clouds were up. And then I saw the ground, there were lights. रात को शहरों में जगह जगह जलती रहती हैं. That was giving me feeling that the stars were up there. Now they are below me, I am upside down. So having resolved that my psychological situation or the kind of thing, I came back and landed. I never suffered of that kind ever again after that. I didn't tell the doctor, because if I tell the doctor, he would have grounded me straight away. Anyway, I told the doctor later, after a few months. Then he asked me to write an article. He said, no, I'll not write your name in that, but tell me what all happened. So I wrote an article. It was published in the medical journal later. So that was another experience. This is the time the war was also approaching. We had the inkling there's something going wrong in Bangladesh in early 70.
By this time, the clouds for war in East Bangladesh were building up. Air Vice Marshal BK Bishnoi was all up in arms to take on Pakistani Air Force pilots. The extraordinary feat of wisdom, courage and determination will get you goosebumps in another part of this series of interview with AVM Bishnoi. If you like this video, do give a thumbs up, share and don't forget to subscribe National Defense for future videos. Thanks for watching. Be happy and stay fit. Jai Hind.